hosting F1's largest elevation championship in fan at Spa. It's a huge 102.2 metres between its highest and lowest points. As well as ancient and historic buildings, Shanghai has an impressive array of modern buildings. Shanghai Tower is the world's finest centre. Be sure to visit Bund to enjoy some breathtaking architecture. Welcome to Shanghai, here on the east coast of China. Shanghai is home to almost 25 million people, making it one of the most popular cities on the planet. Despite being no stranger to the Poland, Sebastian Vettel came over a decade ago, ending his Red Bull in 2009.
Catch it. Check out the highlights of the week video from week 4. It'll be the first race of the 2 on the video. First race of 2 we saw on the video. Sorry, headphones just cut out there. Still haven't replaced my headphones. First race of the 2, so make sure to check that out. It's about a 7.5 minute video, something like that, so you get a nice little feel of what the race was like if you haven't done already. And of course, check out last Thursday's race at Britain as well. Some very decent overtakes there. I've already got some put to one side for overtakes of the month, potentially in that potential basket. Is Chuckle almost loses the rear there at the hairpin. So lap time's coming in thick and fast. I'm not sure if there's rain coming. It is quite cloudy overhead as Proc crosses line in the Aston Martin. And goes 14th for the time being. Robbo, as I said, is a reserve along with GT this evening, so they're the only ones that are going to be struck off by the end. Looney Man making his way around the double left of 9 and 10 before we go down this little straight before turn 11, 12 and 13. 12 and 13 being this, well, there's 12 there. And then 13 is a long banked section before we have this kilometre straight down to the penultimate corners, should I say, because it's 14 and 15. I always sort of relate it slightly to Bahrain, even though Bahrain's more of a 90 degree and this is a hairpin. So through into the final corner for Looney Man. Looks like he's on for a semi-decent time, maybe in the 132s, just 132.882 for him. So Robbo, the last driver that hasn't set a lap time yet, a 23.7 in the first sector for him, and it says it's gone purple there as he makes his way into sector 2 proper. Turn 7, he's making his way around now. The long left-hander and then the long right-hander of turn 8 for this double left of 9 and 10. Watch the car in the mid-corner there. It doesn't step out. The curbs are quite high on the outside there as he now makes his way down into turn 11, braking as late as possible. And now there's a lot of thinking time going down to the hairpin of 14 and 15 DRS open, getting to over 200 miles an hour, about 310 kilometers an hour. Into the final corner, quite tricky. Make sure to watch out for track limits. She did nicely. Crosses the line. It's an Alfa Romeo first and third right now, with RC Racer sitting in second. One of our two debutantes, as I said, both in Haas cars, so easy to find out. It's just a rookie team this evening. Quite spread apart at the moment, but very good time from RC Racer as it stands. So just over 9 minutes to go. Now we've got about half the grid just coming back out again for their lap.
From 2009 on, Chinese GT runs the camera control. Move from October to April, Shanghai should bring with it lower average temperatures and a higher average precipitation.
So while we wait to see what happens with these lap times, just bear with me a second. Just wait to see what's going on here. Robbo's about to come into the pits. Prodigy's just coming around turn 7 and 8 right now. He makes his way into that difficult section of the banking before going down the long back straight. Apologies. Pippo Kennedy is just behind Prodigy now as he makes his way out of the final corner. at 1:31.459 to beat. He beats that by a country mile. The first one into the 1:36s, 1:30.669 for Prodigy, and sitting on provisional pole before we get into the 28 lap race in around 7 or 8 minutes time. Short Marcus leading the championship and down at the bottom of the standings in round 5 in this qualifying session right now. Let's see what he can do as he makes his way out of turn 13 and out of the banking and onto the back straight as the track levels out and we get to the DRS line, get that DRS open, about extra 20 kilometers an hour, 12 miles an hour of extra speed before we hit the brakes around that 100-meter marker board. Just at the start of the curves there, we're getting on the left pedal. And as June said, he got a quality ban from track retirement. I did think it was a qualifying ban. I wasn't too sure what it was for, but thanks, Ginge. Short Marcus crosses the line just behind his teammate in 7th right now. So, talking about pole positions, Josh McGill got a pole this season, Matthew as well. Prodigy has had 2 so far, and the only one to be into more than one pole position so far. He's also been in the top 3 at the end of qualifying every race this season so far. Another one that's been pretty good with that is Matthew, and nice job, mate. But Matthew not here this evening. Nice job, mate, down in 12th right now. 2 AlphaTauris not been inside the top 10 at the start of the race either. That's something they need to work on getting into the second half of the season. Of course, no stats for Hash just yet, as it was wiped clean. Just a few others been super consistent, as I said. Nice job, mate. Prodigy, Matthew obviously not been here today though, and Paul Jones, Josh McGill, pretty much all been inside the top 10 in every qualifying session. Josh McGill though knocked out outside that top 10 once this season so far. So 4 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. Enough time to get another lap in, but not 2 now, so it's starting to get down to that final lap dash to get a decent lap time in. So, not too long to go. A lot of drivers in the pits, waiting for some to come back out. We've got this, I said, this last dash to get a very good lap time in. So Gingy's starting on that back row, but who's going to be with him? It's Prof at the moment, but he's hoping to get out of that bottom row, make up some places. Another one that struggled, both Aston Martin struggled this season to get outside, get inside the top 10, always qualified outside so far. Prof just warming his tyres, went out a little bit earlier than others. We should see them come out in about the next minute or so. We just wait to see what happens with them. We'll stay with Prof for the minute and see what he can produce. Got some drivers on the inside there. I think that was a McLaren and an Alpine. It was definitely an Alpine, the second car. As we go into this long turn 1 and 2, and then into turn 3 as we power out here. Be careful on that right pedal though, because the car can get out of shape on the exit. A little kink of turn 5 and into the hairpin of 6. Might see some moves there a little later on. And we move back over to the right hand side before we turn the steering wheel hard left to go around this long left-hander, and then back to the right. It's a parallel with the corner before it as we go into the double left. As I said, tricky, that mid-corner section just there, just getting the car straight and getting the throttle application right as we go into turn 11, 12 and 13. Almost looked like he went a little bit wide there. As we now exit turn 12 and 13, we should catch him going around 13 and on to the back straight. As we've had Matthew Jones retire, I believe that's a pit lane retirement. He may have done his lap a little earlier on. 5-place grid penalty for Short Marcus for illegal blocking. At the moment down in 9th, and he's not going to be too pleased about that. That's for sure. His prof maybe not too pleased with his penultimate corner. Looked like he went slightly wide there before getting out and onto this final corner, which he's done really rather nicely there. He used all of the track, moved up to 15th. The RC Racer looks like he's on a lap right now as he's going through turn 7 and 8. Some brilliant corners, feathering that throttle pedal, trying to get the most of the apex speed as he possibly could. Takes 9 and 10 really rather nicely, and now a short dash to turn 11. And he's half a second up on his lap time. He could be getting towards the front row of the grid for his first race in RTGs. He takes a really low line there through the Banks corner. It seemed like it worked for him though as he gets up to the DRS line. Open that up and get your head down before we get into the penultimate corner. Hitting the brakes around that curve there, about the 100-metre marker board. Gets into the corner nicely, gets the car straightened up really rather nicely as well. Doesn't use all the track, gets to the right earlier than some. Misses the apex slightly and gets out of shape there. That would cost him a tenth or two as he crosses the line. He's on the front row into the 130s, 130.8 for the debutant as the checker flag has now dropped and Danny's the first one to see it. And he's sitting down in 12th. Got a Ferrari coming around the final corner. It's Tiny. He goes onto the second row, 131.0. The track getting faster and faster. Who is up next? Apology if I miss anyone. I believe it might have been, no, it wasn't Pippo. It was Paul Jones, our Thursday champion, now up to 4th. And Aston Martin has just crossed the line. That's Looney Man. He's down in 17th. Oh, sorry, it was Prof that came around the final corner. He's down in 16th. I believe that's a Red Bull making its way around the final corner here, followed by his teammate as well, just behind him. He goes up to 9th, 131.6, a 131.1 for Pippo Kennedy. As I said, the track getting faster and faster. Josh McGill goes on to the front row. He knocks RC Racer onto that second row. And what Short Marcus going to do? Got that 5-second time penalty. If I place grid penalty hanging over his head here. Got 2 cars ahead of him. Nice job, mate's up first. Prodigy goes even faster. Is Nice Job Mate going to get up there? No, he's in 5th. Is what Short Marcus going to do. He's down in 11th. He's going to be starting 16th. And that is the end of qualifying, with Prodigy taking his 3rd pole position of the season, but is yet to get a race win. Wonder if that can change this evening. Josh McGill on the front row with him, and Coix is RC Racer, who is one of the 2 debutants, starting in 3rd place. Didn't have high hopes. I'm sure he's going to be feeling better about that after this qualifying session, but of course got a 28 lap race to run in just a few moments. So, Prodigy is on pole in the Mercedes for the 3rd time this season. Josh McGill is 2nd. RC Racer is third, Tiny is fourth, Nice Job Mate is fifth, sixth is Pippo Kennedy, seventh is Chuckle, Paul Jones is eighth, ninth is Robbo, 10th is Chuck, Short Marcus is 11th, 12th is Royal Rumble, Danny is 13th, 14th is Lee, Matty Jones is 15th after retiring early in the session, Prof is 16th, 17th is Looney Man, the other debutant Beppe is 18th, 19th is GT Ord, and Ginge with that qualifying ban starts 20th and last. So if anyone's wondering and new to the channel, no formation laps in RTG. It becomes quite complicated sometimes with forming up, and all manner of chaos can occur. So looking at the consensus, 2 tyres being used for now. That's the mediums and the hards. More than likely going to be a 1-stop here, I could presume, around a 28-second pit stop time here, but we'll see. The front 2 are on mediums at the moment. I'm going to quit out because we've got some new drivers, and sometimes they do ready up early and not realise that admins are the ones to decide that who to ready. So, as I said, just waiting to see when we get started. It doesn't look like anyone's readied up early, because I think we would have started by now if that was the case. Tyres again very quickly. Someone's gone on the softs, Tiny in 4th. And that's it. Everyone else medium and hards. It seems like almost pretty much a 50-50 split between the rest. And here we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 red lights. And we're away for Thursday Tiers Chinese Grand Prix, and Prodigy's got a decent start. I think Josh McGill's just about to get alongside him though as we go in to turn 1. We've had a car round, there's been a crash towards the back. It's Matty Jones. I think he might be out. Is he out now? I think he's been able to keep going, but he's had a mishap at the start finish straight at the very start. Josh McGill was pushing Prodigy out of turn 3 as we go up through turn 4, and now the kink of 5 before we get into turn 6. Who's going to try and be later on the break for Haas is there. Very, very late. Actually made contact with the side of the Ferrari there of Tiny. I'm sure he wouldn't have been too pleased about that. The hard tyre though, looks like he's working well around the outside as he backed out of it there, lets his rival go through as he's got a McLaren on his outside there. A nice job mate, looking up the inside as well, but the braking zone too short to go for a lunge there as they now make their way out of turn 10, and Alpha Tauri is rounded into the wall, backed it into the wall between turns 10 and 11. That was Royal Rumble, and falling down almost all the way to the back. Prof and Danny fighting over 10th place in the last third of the lap here as they go around turn 13. The 2 Aston Martins side by side there in the distance. As you can see towards the front though, Prodigy trying to break the toe from Josh McGill, but he looks to the inside, but not close enough. Just slightly further back here, the Alfa Romeo of Robbo going up the inside of Pippo Kennedy. The door was left open for him and he stepped right through it and moved up to 6th place, and as they go single file through the final corner, it is a one-stop strategy. Medium to soft, soft medium, or hard medium, medium hard will be the strategy this evening. As we go into turn 1, Chuckle now at the inside on Pippo. He's had 2 drivers take that inside line from him in the last few corners. Not the best of starts for the Red Bull driver. He's got his Red Bull teammate behind him as well as they all make their way through turn 1. Matty Jones enters the pit lane to potentially get a front wing change, as it looked like he did get damage after the start. The front three just starting to make a little bit of a gap here and getting out of that DRS window before we get DRS enabled on the next lap. As I said at the start of the stream, 2 DRS zones around this China circuit. But all of them keeping tabs. I think they might all be on different tyres. No, softs and 2 mediums ahead of him, but Tiny's making good, having good pace at the moment, with obviously having the softest and quickest tyre overall, but obviously the longevity of that tyre will come into question in the near future. Watching this front three go into the penultimate corners of 14 and 15, really one corner, but it says it's 2. Penultimate braking zone at the very least anyway. Moving further back into that braking zone. No one going for it. Puff of smoke there by one of the drivers. The other debutant down in 14th. Looks like he might be passed on the outside here. The Alpine trying it and all being pushed off the track. And GTR will not be pleased with that. He really was force wide there. Not sure if that was malicious or not. As Pippo Kennedy now switches places with his teammate, but now he's got a McLaren alongside him to deal with. He may have opted to lose the one by team orders, but looks like he's lost another. Now even wanting to instigate it and really just falling backwards. Pippo Kennedy got the Alpha Tauri on his outside here. Danny trying it around the outside. It's going to take something here, and oh, he's made contact. Pippo Kennedy with Danny. He's done a 360, got back underway again, so wouldn't have lost too much time. Now down in 15th, maybe 16th there is in turn 9. Short Markers was on that inside line. He got it done after obviously losing all that momentum with the spin. Nice job, mate, been able to gain a bit of ground here. DRS for the first time down this back straight. Josh is getting closer and closer. A bit too early on in the race to be going for lunges there, as we're just about to go on to lap 4. Around the final corner we go then, and on to that 4th lap. Prodigy still leading as it stands. Nice job, mate, though, taking the fastest lap on that medium tyre. Short Marcus looking quick here, gaining places. Looks like he's just about to gain another here, and has done. Now got a Haas ahead of him, but wasn't close enough to get 2 cars in one straight plus a corner. Danny trying to make up places and time that he lost after the collision with Pippo Kennedy. I'm pretty sure I'll be seeing that in the stewards' reports later. And Josh now losing time. As I said, that mid-corner between 9 and 10. He can really struggle when he did by the looks of things. His Chuckle looks like he struggled here. Might have been in that place. I think it was around there. Turns 9 and 10. It can really catch you off guard. And now down in 17th. The driver who's 6th in the championship right now. That is not going to have made him a happy bunny whatsoever. Tiny now up to 2nd. The Scotsman overtaking Josh McGill. Josh McGill, though, looking up the inside here, but I don't think that was intentional. Outbraked himself. Saw the front tyres locking up there, and surely would have lost some grip out of the front tyres. Josh McGill, Short Marcus, sorry, gets past Beppe into turn 14 and 15. But Tiny looking pretty good on the soft tyres at the moment. Presumably he will want to go to the mediums, whether that's the case or not. Obviously hards do go a bit further. If he needs to stop earlier on, that's what he will be going on. Prodigy around 2 seconds in the lead now. Just something that lets him down time and again, though, staying within those white lines. Paul Jones is out. That's the safety car deployed. It means Matthew's going to be able to caught back up. We've lost Paul Jones at turn 4. It has triggered the safety car. Yeah, Matthew just going round for another lap, whether he'll pit or not. Paul Jones is left the lobby. So first one out, down to 19 on lap 5, and our first safety car of the evening. Prodigy will be annoyed about that as well, because he was starting to eke out a bit of a gap, and obviously all that work is now gone to nothing. Got to start all over again in a few laps time. Who is going to pit though? That's the question. Is Tiny going to pit? Kind of turns it into a two-stop. It's an interesting point to have a safety car. We'll see what Prodigy does. Stays out. Tiny coming in by the looks of things, he is, and then followed by Nice Job. So they're doing something slightly different to others. It really is a bit of a mix here of who's pitting and who isn't. Looney Man in as well. Even though Looney Man hasn't qualified inside the top 10 this season, he's finished three sides inside. He's finished 3 times inside that top 10 this season so far, and made it to the end of every race so far. And it's Paul Jones's first retirement of the season as well, so really unlucky for him. But yeah, we've had sort of a more people pit than not, actually. And I'm assuming Matty Jones may also pit as well. And a bit of a 50-50 on which tyre they pitted on. Looks like the consensus has been slightly more onto the hard tyre than people going onto the mediums. But yeah, no soft tyres to speak of now. The top 8 are the only ones that have not pit and still got that mandatory pit stop to do. Beppe being one of them, and strategically stayed out to take track position here. So it kind of makes sense for him. His teammate is in the podium places right now. But as I said, those top 8 still got a pit. So we'll have the safety car for this lap. I believe it'll be on lap 7. We'll be racing again on lap 8. And we'll have 21 laps to go. Just waiting for Matty Jones really now to catch up. There's a few others that haven't caught up to the back of the pack just yet. As I said, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe if you're enjoying the content being put out this season, and will potentially be going beyond as well after season 14. It seems like people like the highlights, the moments of the week, the overtakes of the month. There potentially could be something else in the works for the end of the season. More on that potentially a bit later on. Just had the first little idea of it in a few days, so you may see something else between seasons. We don't usually have a big gap, but if we do something like this, we might have a week or so's gap just to do these couple of things that we potentially are doing. So now on to that lap 7. As I said, this is the lap I believe the safety car will come in. Bit of a lock up there from Prodigy, which is not something you want to do when the safety car is out, really, but maybe struggling to get some temperature. This Matty Jones is just about to catch up to the back of the field. And of course we have our races on Thursday as well. Make sure to be back for that. Same time, 8 o'clock UK time, 9 Western European time. For Thursday's Tier 2, of course, the full qualifying format with me and Lee. It will be Hungary this Thursday, so looking forward to that one. And then obviously Saturday, maybe Sunday. I'm working a little bit more over the weekend than I usually do, so it'll be Saturday or Sunday that the highlight video will come out for that week, along with the moments of the week around the same time of day as well, so keep an eye out for those. So safety cars in this lap. Prodigy will be leading us away. Get racing once again. Long sector 3 here. Long back straight is giving Prodigy a lot of time here to prep. get the space he wants from the safety car. Safety car will be coming into the pits the next few seconds. He's made his way around the last few corners and now makes his way into the pit lane, so Prodigy can go whenever he deems fit. And he's gone about 100 metres before the final corner of turn 16. We get back racing again and on to lap 8. And got a pretty decent launch as well, about 3/4 of a second ahead of the next car. There's RC Racer there. Maybe try to pull him off a little bit, getting closer and closer there as that gap was always going to close as the apex gets tighter and tighter at turn 2. Through turns 3 and 4 now. And cars looking slightly like they're seesawing at the wheel actually as they're trying to get temperature back into those tyres. Obviously the top 8 on used tyres, so they would have been able to get them up to temperature a little bit easier. But they've got a tall order now actually with the drivers behind. They may be on 2-stop strategy, so these guys are, I'm presuming, have committed to the 1-stop as Tiny gets past RTG Lee there at turn 6, between turn 6 and 7. That kind of area. Nice job, mate. Now getting past Lee was that, and I think he went off the road there. Yeah, onto the runoff and onto the gravel and tries to keep out of the way and is kept out of the way so much he's fallen all the way to the back. Short markers, I think, just got past Chuck there into turn 11. Shame I didn't catch that. As we go through the banking down the back straight as the leaders are getting closer to the braking zone of turn 14. GT Ord falling down here. Tiny overtaking Bippy as we go into turn 14 and 15. As I said, I'm just wondering what these guys are going to do, what the guys of pit. Some of them, I think, on the hards are going to try and go to the end. So if we don't see any more safety cars, this could get very interesting in terms of strategy in the next few laps as we go through turn 2 and turn 3. 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane for Lee. He's also retired. We're down to 18 now. He's retired of his own accord. Through the kink of turn 5 into the braking of 6 with car number 6 there, Josh McGill. Looked like he had a bit of a lock-up and just following Prodigy right now. Mainly single file through here though, of course. I'm not sure got a big tyre advantage or feeling extremely confident through this section. Maybe not here so much. Might see some lunges into turn 11. Might see it from Tiny here getting closer as Bippy is spun out here and Lee's car off the track now. That's Julie's track. Car off the track at turn 2. That's what that yellow flag was for. Here comes Tiny. No DRS just yet, but he's got a double slipstream ahead of him. Is Ginge going to pull to the right hand side? He does. He looks up the inside of Prof. Gets it done here, and Prof almost caught in a bit of a sandwich there mid-corner, but they're all able to keep themselves to themselves as we go through the final corner. It's very, very close between these guys. Tiny now getting past Prof as well, struggling with these guys who have got the newer tyre, which I thought may have been a bit of an inevitability. Nice job, mate. Up the inside of 2, round the outside at turn 3. This could be a very good overtake if he can pull it off as he goes around the outside at 4, and he's got it done here. Here comes Robbo as well. It's a Prof just falling back now like Pippa Kennedy did earlier on in the race, and he's just made slight contact with Prof, but looks like he's got past as well. Prof falling down in this first sector, and he's down to 10th place now. Chuckle getting around the outside of Looney Man. That was a very good overtake from him. We caught the last moments of that one. Ooh, just getting out of shape, seesawing on the exit, but that's where we see warnings and penalties happen with little mistakes as we come out of corners, especially like turn 10, which I know I've banged on about, but it certainly is a tricky one, trickier than it looks. Josh McGill now got that DRS to close the gap, but it doesn't look like he's closing as much as he probably would have thought or liked, actually. As we go down into turn 9, Tiny's at the front of this queue. Nice job, mate, on the inside of Ginge, who was overtaken before, but these guys have all been switching places ever since the safety car came in. Nice job, mate. Now moves up. Danny also looks like he's gone around the outside, got off the track though, and I'm sure Prof is going to be a bit miffed about that one. Robbo here, inside line, the better line for turn 1 and 2. As it gets tighter and tighter and slower, he's got it done as we get into turn 3. And he's already looking like he's on the hunt for nice job, mate. As there's this big group of cars, as I said, just all changing places, all on different strategies as well. Really, really interesting as we now have Lee actually leave the session. And it will be getting time soon for some of them to pit. As Tiny's the first one who hasn't pit yet. Oh, sorry, Tiny's the one that has the first one that's pit from the safety car. He's 4 ahead of them have yet to pit, and it's starting to show as we're on lap 11. They would have had a bit of respite, obviously, under the safety car. It looks like RC Racer is getting out of shape there and looking like he was going left when he was supposed to be going right into that turn 13, turn 12 and 13. Going to the right hand side is RC Racer is being defensive from the get-go. Pippo looking to the outside. Tiny backed out of it, and I think he's actually lost the place to Nice Job Mate, who was coming at a hell of a rate. Here we go, through turn 15, on towards turn 16. Pippo Kennedy's on the inside here as we go into the corner. Nice Job Mate almost been spun around there. It was almost like 3 or 4 into 1, but everyone seems to have stayed on the track. As I said, a bit of a Tokyo drift from the McLaren as we go into turn 1 with that McLaren, and 2, oh my days, short markers and Nice Job Mate have gone completely off the track and done a Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc of turn 1 at Las Vegas last season in November, and it's all kicking off in the midfield. It's so tightly packed right now, and it's really showing, and everyone having elbows out and not giving one iota at the moment. I just can't really take my eyes off this midfield pack. The top 4 are still the drivers that are yet to pit. Tiny hasn't been able to break into that top 4 just yet. But Robbo's behind him as well, and as I say that, looks like he's gone on the inside. Here goes Robbo as well. He's going to go for it here. This is going to be a really good move if he can get it done. Now trying around the outside of turn 12 and 13. He's got it done. The Alfa Romeo driver. What a brilliant move from Robbo, the reserve this evening in the Alfa Romeo, and now on the hunt for Tiny. As Tiny gets past Pippo Kennedy into the braking zone on that fresher rubber. And I said they're going to have to pit soon. And likewise, people like Tiny are going to have to preserve that hard tyre, because they're going to want to go to the end, I think. At this point, we see a Ferrari in the background. That's Short Marcus, who is pit. He must have sustained some damage, I think. Must have been the case, surely. Going to turns 2 and 3 with Tiny making his way out of turns 3 and 4. 4.2 seconds to the leaders, who are going into the hairpin of turn 6 now. Nothing can separate these two. Prodigy's been very good though, maintaining the lead for every lap so far after taking the pole position. But when are those guys going to pit? They've got themselves a little bit of a buffer, but they'll want to extend that if they can. If the tyres can give them the grip that they really need at this point. Again, look at that, just this opposite lock through 9 and 10. Such a tricky corner. Can cost the best of us, it really can. Number 5 Ferrari of Tiny making his way around the banked corner of turn 13. Going to have Robbo behind him with DRS surely as we go down towards turns 14 and 15. Long run when you don't have DRS. It's a long time looking in your mirrors. Is Tiny going to go defensive here, or is he just going to let him go past and not fight it just yet? And that is the case. He's just actually almost seemed like he's let him go past, because these two need to catch up to the leaders, and maybe fighting at this point isn't best for them. Top two stayed out for another lap as we go on to lap 14. So, apologies for that, such a timeout. Yeah, nothing's changed though. In the half lap I haven't spoke. These two still as close as they were, but Robbo is gaining time now. He's gained a second in about the last lap and a half. So is this the point now where those two at the front need to pit? But at this point, I think the hard tyre is going to be the tyre they go for. I don't feel like the softs are going to be able to go that distance. They're going to have to wait another 2, 3, maybe 4 laps until we can go to the soft tyre. Tiny gets past once again. It really does look like these two are working together to catch up. Chuck now getting past RTG Racer Prodigy, the first one of those drivers who have yet to pit. Didn't get a speeding in the pit lane. Another penalty he's got quite often in the last season or so. But he was able to get it stopped in time. Yeah, hard tyres for him. But he's now going to fall down, and I think it's 13th is where he is going to come out. His drivers behind him have pit as well. But has, to his advantage, got a lot of clear air ahead of him now to gain back the time that he's lost with that pit stop. How far away is he from the leader? 23 seconds. So actually it was a pretty decent pit stop actually. I thought it was more like 26, but there you go, 23 seconds. And it's more like 20 seconds he's got to gain on Robbo, who is net first at the moment. But as I said, he is a reserve, so wouldn't be actually taking the victory when it comes to standings and stats. So what's going on with Tiny and Robbo at the moment? They were switching places but not putting up a fight. So when it looked like they were working together, is Josh McGill going to come in? No. Opts to stay out another lap. Is he going to go a bit longer and go on to the soft tyres at this point? I feel that could be better. And RC Racing now comes into the pits, has to get it stopped before the line, and does. What's he going to go on to? As Danny gets past Pippa Kennedy there, it turns 1 and 2. Medium tyres for the debutant Brit. So he makes his way to the pit lane exit. Already been passed by Prodigy, of course, who's into turn 3. Here comes Ginger out of the pits as well. So the strategy really become quite interesting now. Interesting as well in terms of what Josh is going to do. Is Robbo going to try and go to the end on the tyre he's on? Sure. Well, Chuck and Pippo going to work together here as well. Got Danny ahead of them. Yet to finish inside the top 10. Be a fantastic result for him if he could do. And here comes Chuck getting closer to his teammate. DRS open for the pair of them. The rear light flashing though for the car in 6th place, but squeezes alongside there, pushes his teammate right to the outside, demanding most of the road, and gets past. Danny now goes into the pits and leaves Chuck with a lot of clear air. Josh, of course, stayed out another lap here. Impressively maintaining a bit of a gap to his teammate. RTG, there you go, moving up the order, getting the fastest lap, now into 7th after quite a few of them are pit, and still got that clear air, so it's more like, it feels more like time trial at the moment, just getting every corner right, getting every apex, every braking point, throttle applications, making sure it's all spot on. Beffy's out, safety car deployed, second one of the evening. Beffy's out at turn 16. Well, that is interesting. We actually saw last week drive-through penalty, speed under the safety car for GT Ord. Unfortunate. We saw last week, can't remember who it was now, I think it might have been the Alpha Tauri, whoever it was, slowed down to have a gap to their teammate ahead of them whilst coming into the pits. He did get a time penalty for slowing up too much, basically for unsportsmanlike conduct, which it really was. I didn't know if there was a rule or not, but it turns out there is. And keeping an eye on what Robbo does here, because he does have the same fate and is keeping a big gap. And they have the same fate as the driver did in Britain last week. Now into the pit lane, foot flat to the floor before hitting the brakes for that 48 mile per hour pit lane limit. 5 different penalties, speeding in the pit lane for Chuck. Oh no! I'm pretty sure at this point, 10 laps to go, what we're thinking, yeah, everyone's going to go on the soft. Prodigy, though, getting gutted about pitting early, not doing what Josh did. But also fair play to Josh, because he didn't just respond coming the next lap. Decided to stay out, maybe had his fingers crossed slightly for a safety car, but I think this was the car he wanted to go on. And are we going to see someone taking 2 wins this season in Tier 1? I haven't seen it just yet. Here, the high revs there of Josh McGill. Keep trying to burn away some fuel as best he can, get the car as light as he possibly can. But that can cost you quite a bit of lap time, that. Having too much fuel on board. So tyres, mix of mediums and softs. 2 drivers still on the hard tyre. Surely they're going to pit now. They're only going to lose 2 places. We've got to pit surely. Just keep an eye out in the background here. There's one of them, Prof. I think has pit. GT Ord hasn't. Interesting. So, tiny on the mediums. I still had a fair way to go when the safety car came out. So I can understand why some opted for the mediums. It's a little bit of a you know, you are going to procrastinate about it for sure. And it's almost like a split decision. You really haven't got long to work out whether to go on which tyre. I think your brain will always go soft at this point in your head, but then you've got to think towards the end of the race, is that going to cost me time with 2-3 laps to go? Because if it's 1 or 2 laps, it's probably worth the risk. If it's 3, 4, 5 laps, it's a medium, but it's not something you really know. It's not something you know until it happens. So yeah, it's been such a long time since we've been here, and 5 or 6 months ago since the last time we were here. So anyone's really going to remember how long tyres last. So we're now waiting for short markers, so I don't believe, unless he's quick, we could get a late call. He is gunning it. I can see on the track map. We're going to have a look at what he's doing. He's certainly trying to catch up. He doesn't want the race to be held up longer than it needs to. So I do believe it will be in this lap here, but it's going to be a semi-late call. Obviously a lot later because sector 3 is long here, but there you go, you get 6 car in this lap. I think Josh had plenty of time. So Prodigy now down in 11th place. Just shows what safety car fortune can do. Or not do. So second safety car this evening. Prodigy got us away the first time. And this time it will be Josh McGill who takes the pace, who gets us racing again. When we get on to lap 20, we're going to have 9 laps to go. When we say 9 laps, softs seem like the better option, don't they? As we get out of turn 14 and 15, he's got the power down early and actually got a bit of a jump on Tiny here. If he gets a good final corner, he might be over a second ahead when they cross the line. No, close though, around the same distance, 0.8 of a second when we cross the line there. As Tiny still in second as we go into turn 1. Robbo closely following. Going towards turn 1. Here goes short Marcus here on Prof. Know each other very well. A lot of respect. We give each other the respect on track as well in the room, which he has done. And short Marcus now up to 15th. While we're looking towards the back, we've got drivers already going through turns 7 and 8 at the front, with Josh gaining more and more time here. As we go into turns 11, 12, and then a really lovely corner, I think, at the banking of turn 13. And Josh gaining time and Tiny losing it to his teammate. Is he already alongside and a long pass before we got to the DRS line? Obviously no DRS just yet, it's just a reference point. We got past him very early on in the straight. That's had a very nice turn 13. And likewise, Tiny having a very bad turn 13. Matty almost in the gearbox of the McLaren there. They were so close together. As we go through the final corner onto the start finish straight, onto lap 21. 8 laps to go. And Robbo is catching, but as I said, reserve, so he will be dropped out anyway. So whether Josh finishes first or second with Robbo winning, he'll be winning anyway. And of course, Robbo, I believe, is going to know this, so we'll wait and see. Chuckle looks like he's spun round there at turn 4. Not having the best of starts to his season in 6th, but I'm sure someone like Chuckle would want to be higher. He's in both days though, tier 1 and 2. Believes he's at the crossover point between the two. I'd personally arguably say it's tier 1 really, but there you go. 0.8 of a second between the leaders. The gaps a little bit more spread at the top of the top 10 here between third, fourth, fifth, sixth, just within DRS range. Of course, not got that until the next lap. Nice job, mate. On the inside, always seems to have a very quick car in a straight line. Like low downforce setups. Danny losing the rear there. Losing time. It may have cost him a place. So outside at turn 16. And he's got it done. Nice job, mate. Nothing else I can say to that. It was a very, very nice overtake from the McLaren driver. Danny fighting back as he looks at the outside into the apex of 1. Now on the inside at 2. Outside again for 3 as we weave our way around this sector 1 at the Shanghai International Circuit, up and over the crest of 5. Downhill braking for turn 6. Nice job being able to hold on for the moment. Top 3 all within about 1.5 seconds. Tiny having a very, very good race so far today. So, what's going to happen? Apologies, I think my mic's been on mute for a little bit there. I'm really sorry about that. I didn't even realise. I think my finger must have just slipped on it. So we're on to the penultimate lap here. Tiny still in the lead. I think Josh is just going to sit back here and wait. But look at that, Prodigy catching up now, obviously after taking the pole position. Is Josh going to go for it? He is going to go for it. Inside line for him there. I said before, I'm so sorry. I don't know how long we've been on pause for, on mute for. Really, really sorry about that. As we go into the final corner, Tiny now in seconds. We go on to the last lap of this race. What is going to happen? Are we going to see the first driver taking their second win this season, or are we going to have another new race winner in season 14? Here we go, through turn 5, down to turn 6. See drivers go for moves there. Here comes Prodigy as well, just trying to close up as much as he can. Surely the mediums are starting, really are now, rather than starting, they are going to be the better tyre at this point. Through 7 and 8. And then through turn 9 and 10, down the straight here before turn 11. We get the detection point for DRS. Tiny's going to have to get a really good exit here. I'm not sure what's going to happen. He's looked quick all race, but is Josh surely not going to give that inside line again? No, there we go. Making his intention clear, weaving from left to right and back to the left again. DRS is open. He's got to go for it. Surely he's going to go for it here. To the outside. Is he going to try and switch back here as they go around turn 14 and 15? Has Josh McGill done enough to take his second win in season 14? I think he has. We go around the final corner. Josh McGill wins the Chinese Grand Prix. Tiny comes home in second. Prodigy finishes in third for his second podium this season. Nice job finishes fourth. Shout out to RT Racer for finishing in 5th place there. Pippa Kennedy 6th. And we'll talk about the rest a little bit later. Again, apologies for the muting. I think I was on mute for a good few minutes there, so really, really sorry about that. Wow, that was an exciting finish. 2 tenths between first and second, almost 3 tenths. Tiny must be a little bit gutted there, but must be happy about podium. And so Prodigy's retired early. And annoyingly, that always happens. So, yeah, Prodigy took the last podium place. So we'll just do the final rundown, and then we'll get into what's going on next week, and so on. So there we go, Josh McGill wins his second race of the season after his first win in Bahrain. Tiny came home in second, Prodigy was third, Nice Job Mate was fourth, fifth was RC Racer, sixth was Pippa Kennedy, seventh was Danny, eighth was Matty Jones, ninth was Looney Man, 10th was Short Marcus, Royal Rumble is 11th, Prof is 12th, Chuckle 13th, 14th was GT Ord, Chuck was 14th, sorry, 15th is Ginge, and Robbo, Bebe and Lee and Paul Jones did not finish this race. So, as I said, we'll be back on Thursday for Hungary with me and Lee at 8 p.m. and 8 p.m. UK time, 9 p.m. Western European time. We'll be back next week in Brazil. That'll be a sprint race for that one. You won't hear me for the next couple of weeks. Lee's taking over duties on Monday for the next 2 weeks until I'm back again for Vegas, which I'm super excited for, to be back for Tier 1 for that one. So yeah, you'll hear me on Thursday, but for Monday, until Vegas in a few weeks' time, it's goodbye.